To all the ladies of Europe, don't worry. Your handsome general was wounded in the face, but he wasn't seriously injured. And his courage hasn't diminished, though perhaps he's become less handsome. These are the words of someone you might think is a poet or writer. But let me shock you. These are the words of a young marshal, barely 30 years old, who commanded one of the strongest armies in the world at the time. Yes, it was the handsome, incredibly brave madman, Joachim Murat. In 1799, a fierce battle took place at Abu Qir in Egypt between the French army and the Ottoman Mamluk army. During this battle, the Turkish commander drew his pistol and fired at the French commander. The bullet entered his face and exited the other side, leaving him unharmed except for a cut on his cheek. This lucky general would have his name immortalized in history as one of the most powerful cavalry generals in history. First, the beginning. Murat, from a middle-class family, joined the French Royal Guard at the age of 20, then left because his ideas clashed with Murat's belief in a centralized republic leading a large empire. In the autumn of 1795, 3 years after the abdication of King Louis XVI, royalists and anti-revolutionaries organized an armed uprising. On October 3rd, General Napoleon Bonaparte, who was in Paris, was appointed commander of the French National Convention's defense forces. This constitutional convention, after a long period of emergency rule, attempted to establish a more stable system and a permanent government in the aftermath of the Reign of Terror. Napoleon tasked Murat with collecting artillery from a suburb outside the control of government forces. Murat managed to seize the cannons at Camp des Sablons and transport them to the center of Paris, avoiding the rioting crowds. The use of these cannons on October 4th allowed Bonaparte to protect the members of the National Convention. For this success, Murat was promoted to the rank of colonel and subsequently became one of Napoleon's most favored officers. Second, the Italian campaign. In 1796, Murat accompanied Bonaparte to northern Italy, where he initially served as an aide in the camp. He was later promoted to commander of the cavalry after numerous campaigns against the Austrians and their allies, who sought to restore the monarchy in France and suppress the revolution. His courage and the daring of the cavalry under his command led to his promotion to the rank of general. His fame stemmed from the battles, in which Bonaparte constantly needed swift maneuvers to avoid defeat against numerically superior armies, attacking the French from multiple directions. Murat's skills thus contributed to Bonaparte's legendary reputation and popularity among the French. Third, the Prince Charming of European beauties. Away from the battlefield, Murat was no ordinary man. He was a handsome, tall, and incredibly attractive young man to European princesses. So much so that Caroline, Napoleon's sister, fell in love with Murat at their first meeting, writing, "Captivated by his beauty. What a handsome commander." They married sometime later, and historians describe their relationship as a wonderful yet tumultuous love story, as Murat was known for his violence and quick temper. Fourth, the Egyptian campaign. Murat commanded the cavalry in the French campaign against Egypt in 1798 under Napoleon. The strategic objective of this campaign was to threaten Britain's rich possessions in India, some of which France had lost during the 7 Years' War. However, the campaign ended prematurely due to a lack of logistical support and the defeat of the French fleet by the British Navy. After the naval battle, Napoleon led his forces overland towards Europe through Palestine and Ottoman Turkey, but he was recalled by the administration due to fears of a British invasion. The remaining non-military officers of the expedition, including Murat and Bonaparte, returned to France, slipping away from various British fleets and 5 frigates. Fifth, the European campaigns. Napoleon made Murat Marshal of France on May 18, 1804, and also bestowed upon him the title of First Knight of Europe. He also made him Prince of the Empire in 1805 and appointed him Duke of Burgos and Cleves in March 1806, a title he held until 1808 when he was appointed King of Naples and Sicily. He was commander of the French army in Madrid when a popular uprising broke out on May 2, which began the war in the Iberian Peninsula. A major military campaign was launched, involving the Kingdom of Spain, the Kingdom of Portugal, and Great Britain. Murat was an exceptionally brilliant, intelligent, and courageous military leader, although he achieved no decisive victories as a commander in major battles, with the exception of the Battle of Abu Qir in Egypt. Most of France's disastrous campaigns in Russia would have been far more devastating and impactful were it not for Murat's swift and astute tactics, which saved many of Napoleon's soldiers. After the Battle of Leipzig, he negotiated with Austria and reached an agreement to preserve his throne. However, after only 100 days, he realized that the alliance was deceiving him and plotting his downfall. He gathered a large army of captives around him as he enjoyed popularity in Naples. Despite this, he was defeated by the overwhelmingly superior Allied forces. Following his defeat, he fled to Corsica, but was captured by the forces of King Ferdinand IV of Naples and executed. Sixth, profound words and a tragic end for a brilliant commander. When the time came for his execution, Murat walked forward with unwavering composure, as if attending a routine parade. He refused a chair to sit on or to have his eyes covered. He said, "I have defied death so much that I no longer fear it." He stood tall, proud, and resolute, facing the soldiers. And when everything was ready, he kissed his wife's picture and said, "Soldiers, do your duty. Direct at the heart, but avoid the face. Fire,